Of Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. to order at exactly 6:30 p.m. and I would like a star for that. LakeCAM's recording. Anybody else? Okay. If we could rise for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I feel like I haven't seen you all.
It's been a while.
It's been 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think 4 weeks, yeah. Sounds
It's really good to see everybody again. And the spring is here. Let's build a fire station.
yes.
Do it.
All right. All right, quickly, we have meeting minutes from March 5th to approve. Did everybody get a chance to review them? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make the motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll please.
Sukeforth, aye.
Color eye.
O'Brien, aye.
Carboni, aye.
Simon eye. Darling eye.
Okay. All right, and at this point, we're going to pass the torch over to Alex, Taylor, and Kyle for updates on the project. I know you guys have been a little busy with the pre-qual process, so I'm interested in hearing how that's been going and you know, kind of where we're at with that. And
Yeah, why don't we just, you want to
Start with prequel? Sure. So I can't remember what we had talked about the last time we met. So just to review, we did get 15 general contractor packages and we got 114 subcontractor packages for pre-qualification, which is great numbers. We were very happy to see that. So the pre-qualification subcommittee has met a couple of times now and has completed their initial reviews of those packages. We're going to meet tomorrow to just certify everything. We're in a pretty good spot, but thank you to those who are on the subcommittee for all your hard work in the process. Yeah, that's about it. Just hopefully we'll get it finalized tomorrow. Notices will go out to the contractors, I think either Friday or Monday, to let them know they've been pre-qualified. And then from there, once we get, you know, accurate bidding dates, we'll be able to send out notices to those contractors as well for the bidding process. Like, yeah, so far so good. Again, thank you to the subcommittee for all their work.
And out of all of, you know, the 15 and the 114, were pretty much a lot of them meeting all the criteria?
Yeah, I would say
Wow.
almost all of them. We had a couple that, you know, missing documents, just minor things that we've followed up on, but nothing that raised any red flags, nothing on the GC end, right?
No, yeah, and this is the third one we've pre-qualified just in the past 6 months.
3 months,
3
I feel
months,
like,
yeah. So-
we've done a lot of pre-qualification.
So a lot of it was repeat, contractors and
Yeah.
subcontractors.
Yeah, a lot of
that we
familiar
knew.
names.
So we knew exactly what we were looking for, and the same contractors are pretty much, pre-qualifying for the projects that, we're putting out. So it was good to see. It was a good group of contractors, I think, especially the GCs. 15
Is a really good
lot,
number.
Yeah, to pre-qualify for.
Yeah.
When that comes around, it'll be based on who is, what work they have going on. So we probably won't get 15 GC bidders, but we might get 8 to 10, which is great.
Yeah.
So more the better.
I know there's a little grumbling about the platform. I thought it was great. I mean, I'm kind of a nerd about that stuff. It was pretty cool to kind of watch everything work out and easy access onto the references. Like,
That's great.
and it was divided up by project and stuff. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's the only platform that we know about that's done online. The old process is you literally are getting stacks of paper. You're getting every single one, and you're taking those home and reviewing it paper by paper, which it's a monster. So this definitely makes things much easier.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Great, I'm glad to hear that.
Getting through that particular process keeps us in line with what your target date was to, get those bids out by June and.
Yep,
Yep.
Yeah, so
it does.
that's
Yeah,
good
the
work.
only one we did is elevator.
Yeah, elevator, we didn't get any packages for, which is not unheard of, in pre-qualification, so that will just get turned over to the general contractor that filed sub bid.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did get a message about it seemed like an automated message from the platform today about elevator.
You probably did, yeah,
Yeah.
because
We-
you're listed as part of the administration team, so you probably got the
Yeah.
notice at 2 PM today.
Alex put elevator back out because the first go around we didn't receive any packages, so she put it back out.
You have to by law, put it back
by
out.
law, and we didn't get any again.
Okay.
So that just means the GC now carries that number in their bid.
Okay.
Very typical for elevators.
Perfect. Sometimes, I've had feedback from some of the people in the audience. They hear us well when they watch the recordings, watching it back, but when they're sitting in the audience, because we do have quite the audience here this evening, they have difficulty hearing what we're saying. So, but I don't think this group is quiet at all, so I don't think it's a
I've never been
concern.
known to be
Yeah,
quiet.
no. Well, excellent work on that. I know that when starting out, it seemed to me, not having gone through that particular process, that it was gonna be, pretty tedious and not knowing exactly how many you were gonna get back. And you were right around the numbers, what you had indicated.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's nice to be done with that process.
Yeah,
it is, yeah. And again, thanks to the subcommittee, they've made it easy too, so,
awesome.
yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Next, kind of in the same vein, Alex has reached out to the group that we work with for our QC review, just to give them a heads up that the packages will be, or the drawings will be somewhere ready around the middle of May, to get them a package that they'll be reviewing. So they review it. We do our best in-house review as well, but we sub that out to actual an architectural and MEP firm that is going to go through the drawings as well too. So you're really getting 3 sets of eyes doing a QC review, quality control review for the drawings. So that means before they go out on the street, we're just looking to make sure that details correspond to certain details and cuts work through drawings. And so the contractor's looking at a qualified set of drawings. Not that I don't have all the trust in the world of Secotio, but it's standard practice to do a QC review before it goes out. So we have them geared up, ready to go, and we're looking forward to that, because once we're through that, then we'll get the drawings out on the street.
It's good that somebody that isn't involved in the design of it and creating the drawings, it's good to put eyes on it.
Sure, yeah,
Just so it,
fresh.
there's a lot of times we assume everything makes sense because we know that one thing goes with something else, but
And that's not an additional cost to the town, that's in our contract, so.
What time do you get them?
About 2 weeks. Yeah,
Can we see the
sometimes it goes a little
drawings
more. Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll send the drawings around. We'll give you the QC comments too. They go through and redline a whole set, so it gets pretty cumbersome, but we can share those with the town, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good business practice.
Do they review the specifications as well?
Yep.
Yep.
We review everything.
Awesome.
Next, why don't I kind of kick it over to the design team? That's really been we've been handling pre-qualification. They're churning through the documents, trying to get that ready. We do have some updates on the site plan and permitting, so I'll let you take it away, Kyle.
yeah, so, I mean, we're kind of all back of house stuff, just going through the details. We've been pretty quiet, haven't even had a lot of meetings really with the chief since the last one, but we will have, looking to schedule a couple more in the near future to finalize things like low voltage alerting, and then finishes. We should be getting samples in and go around with finishes probably pretty soon. I'll check with Mallory, but we're right around the time where she was expecting to get all the samples in, so we can actually have hard things to look at.
Oh, that's actually, did we talk? I don't think since our last meeting, there was a finishes meeting that was held.
Yeah, there was an
Yeah.
initial meeting. You're right. I think that was shortly following the last meeting we were at, where we went through some options and kind of refine the color palette. And now we're going to bring back actual hard samples
Nice.
so that you can see them. There's a difference between seeing something on an image and seeing something in real life. So I think the first time around we mostly settled on material, which is the big hurdle as far as the drawings go, because color can change within those right up until it's ordered by the contractor. Once we know the material, that's really the big hurdle. So we've been developing those as well.
Chief wants orange everywhere.
No,
Of
I
course it
don't.
does.
It's orange.
We found out the chief and the deputy do agree on things.
Wow.
Oh, please tell.
Their dislike for orange is a very,
So we both agree that we want a building that's gonna age well. It's not gonna be viewed as ugly in 10 years or 15 years. Something classic, something that's gonna, be attractive throughout its useful life. We don't want anything flashy, we want something kind of conservative and fits the style of the town. So that was the basic, and orange, I just didn't meet my definition of conservatives.
some of the other examples with little bold colors were not what they were looking for, but that's what the meetings are for. So first meeting was good, and
It's very educational, especially for the materials you guys were talking about on the floor. Like we were going for like more of an institutional look on the first floor because that's where the office space is, and then kind of more of a residential feel on the second floor. But they were talking about durable products and low maintenance type products because those are the things we're worried about: things lasting and things being able to be maintained properly. So it was kind of very educational for me, and you guys were awesome with the information. It was a very good meeting.
so yeah, we'll have those in the next, I would say, probably 2 weeks. We'll have a couple more meetings with the chief to try to iron things out leading up into that, final review set so that we're there, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Sweet. Yeah.
On the site civil front, we had a meeting with Spencer earlier today, and they're working on wrapping up the permit set of drawings to submit permits. Still on schedule to start submitting permits to all the different requirements next week. And I think everything's on schedule. It should be ready to go. The one question that Spencer had as far as schedule will be natural heritage, as that's being run separately from them, but there's no red flags right now. Everything is just,
Yeah, we had a
get the
meeting.
process
We had a meeting probably 3 weeks ago now with LEC. Nate was on that because he's familiar with our first kind of go around with Natural Heritage and the design team as well. So it's really more coordination between LEC and Spencer's drawings, but they seem to find their way that they were on the same page there. And I asked, Brian, is there anything that could hold us up here in terms of natural heritage? And he didn't think so. No, so there is he'll help us through that process. But as far as what we need to do or give him for information right now, I think he was all set.
Okay. I am going to be providing an update to the select board on Monday night, kind of where we are in the project. So while I'm thinking of it, if we can just kind of capture an email, like what permits we're submitting. One for National Heritage. Who else? So if there's like 4 permits, who are they going for?
Mm-hmm.
Just that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you want to shoot us an email, we can give you a little rundown.
Yeah, that would be great.
So yeah, it was, Spencer and Seaver spoke with the new agent, and it didn't sound like that there'd be a peer review needed or a pre-app meeting needed because they're aware of the project. So it sounded like the permitting process is going to go pretty smooth for this. So that's what we're anticipating. So they're trying to get everything in by the 29th for the meeting of May 13th. So that'll be the next available meeting after we meet the deadline for the information.
Okay. Excellent.
the only other update is the water line. I'll say it's in progress, but essentially we are waiting for a surveyor to get the survey on the schedule. So there isn't a whole lot they can do until that happens. They're on, I didn't ask what surveyor they were using, but they're on his list and they're just waiting for him to get out here so that they can proceed with that work.
So that's happening at the same time. It may go out at the bid for the water line may go out at the same time as this project. It may go out a little bit earlier. We're trying to get it out earlier. So that's something that we were working with Andrew and it's additional design work is really what it came down to for Secotio to move forward and do that water line work. It wasn't part of the original design. And that gets us, out past to where we need to be for the fire station. So to not hold anything up, I didn't want to have to wait for a meeting to get it approved. We worked with Andrew to get that change approved. We did have some budget funding for it in the estimate, so I'll show where that comes out in the next budget round that we do. But we did give the design team the go-ahead to do the water line, figuring that everybody here would agree we need the water line to the building. So that work was approved, and I told them to get going on that. So
The thought is that the water line should, once we have a survey, the water line should go through the process pretty quickly by itself and not get bogged down with the building or the other way around, so that that can get turned around and hopefully be put in before there's a contractor on site, so it'll be clean. Water line will be there, stubbed into the site. The plan is the street work will actually stub it into the site, so it'll be there for the general contractor to just tie into.
yeah, so the bidding process for the GC is about 2 months, maybe a little less. So we can bid the water line much quicker. We can do a quick, 2-3 week turnaround on that bid, and hopefully get somebody started right away. So that's still the plan. We'll see how it works with timing, but even if it were to happen at the same time, it's not the worst case scenario, because they're not going to need water right away. So that work can start at the same time that the building starts, but we're trying to push it to the beginning.
Great. I know Andrew's working diligently on, looking at opportunities to fund the,
Yeah, it'd be great if we can just cover that cost completely, or some of it. We'll see how that works, but that was part of the same conversations we were having with Andrew. But it just made sense to, rather than wait, just to get it going.
Did we budget for a fire pump in the original budget?
No.
No, there was not.
All right, so the fact that we don't have one, I didn't know if we freed up any money when that fire pump was no longer needed.
No, the original budget didn't have one, and the concern that we might need one came after the budget was completed. So the fact that we don't need one is good.
Very good.
I think it was actually one of the things we thought about maybe including in that estimate, and then we pulled it out kind of last minute, figuring we don't need it. But yeah, so no, it didn't free up any money, unfortunately, but it was already out of there.
all right. Anybody else have anything for?
Yeah, the committee discussed operational costs of a new station.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys said you'd be working on that. Do you have any update on that?
We don't, but that's something we can work with the design team and get you. That's wasn't at the top of my agenda, but we can certainly get you something. Based off of the systems that we're putting in, we can get the committee something to use. Thank you.
And we're trying to do all kinds of, budget projections. I mean, we're in the heat of it right now for FY26, but going out 27, 28, we're trying to make sure we're capturing as much as we can.
Yeah.
Potential.
I'm sure we can work with the engineering team and get you something pretty quickly based on the size of the building, the systems that are going in, and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah. Because it's part of almost every budget conversation.
No, I'm sure it is. Yeah. It'll use that less energy, but it's a bigger building, so it will be upfront costs will be a little higher, but
Yeah.
we'll get you something.
All right,
Part
so-
of the,
No.
part of the submittals to town entities for entitlements is this, we contemplating site plan review with the planning board. Is that part of what Spencer's working on now? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have, once their plan's done, we've been holding off to get the landscape architect to do stuff, not that just until we have things placed, there's not a ton of space for them to add much to, but so I think by the end of this week, Spencer will be pretty much caught up where we can get them started, and then it should be a pretty quick turnaround. That's going to be some minor landscaping, around the building, and then really the retention pond will be a chance to kind of make that not look like a barren kind of void. So I don't see that as being a long lead item, so we should have something in the coming weeks to to really be able to present to the town from that standpoint.
Good. And the other thing, we talked a little bit about building height and the height of the tower, 35 feet or under. Did we get a definitive on that?
So I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but I'm pretty sure we checked it. But I can't give you a height right now, so I don't wanna say,
Yeah.
yes, we're okay. We'll do it, I'll do another review with, Spencer. We didn't talk today. I don't believe we have any other zoning issues.
That was the only one that
That-
I noticed.
yeah.
The setbacks are all good, lot coverage is good. We're
I
not
will-
separated.
Yeah, the lot coverage is good.
I will double check that tomorrow so that I have the exact height,
Okay,
and,
perfect.
I'll let everyone know.
Yeah, only because, you know, if we do need a variance for some reason, it's a longer process.
Would we need a variance if the antennas on the building go over that height? Okay,
That they're
Just-
exempt, it's just
Alright, good.
built, just structure itself.
perfect.
Yeah.
It'd be 34'11".
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll make it that.
We've done that before.
I know. You're not the first.
We've also looked at it and go 35-1, well, that can't work, you know? Like, so, we'll, I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure I did look at it, I just don't remember the numbers, so.
I know what we have on the agenda Monday, for the select board is to discuss, a cell tower, an additional cell tower, because I know it wasn't under, this particular, committee's purview, but, it had come up in previous discussions. And so, bringing it to the select board for, an opportunity to talk about it. I don't know how that would potentially align with what you have going on with this project and this tower. So I don't know if I'm,
Yeah, so right now, we're not planning on a tower at the fire station. We've asked Comtronics for really two prices. Give us a price for antennas on the building to basically make what works in the town work now and better, and then give us a price for what a tower would be if you really needed it. So they're gonna do a study and kind of tell us what direction we need to do, or if we really need to do a tower. It didn't sound like that is absolutely necessary. So I guess it depends on what type of antenna the town is looking to do for a cell phone type antenna, because that's a completely different animal. We've done that in a couple towns now. A standard antenna that you would do for public safety, the structure is far less than what you would do for a cell tower. The height isn't is big. The foundation gets larger when you go to a cell tower. So it would be something that we could add in, but it would be great to know up front, certainly.
Right.
It's the foundations that get pretty substantial when you go to a cell tower.
okay, so I guess, during that discussion, we'll talk about, how, if in fact we do want to proceed and see if that's an option for that location, or if we would look elsewhere.
Yeah,
So,
so we've done it in two towns, and then they put out, an RFP after the fact to get carriers on it. We had one town that was super successful, and they got 3 carriers that jumped right on it, and the town was making revenue from it. And then we had another town that has never gotten a carrier put on that. So they spent all that money on the tower and then haven't got any carriers. So I'm sure it's good to know who, to talk to the manufacturers, to talk to the cell phone carriers, to know if it was putting something up in this area would work. Just we had one town that took a gamble and didn't work out.
okay. Well, that's good information to have, and,
The vendors that were involved in the discussion are pretty familiar with our infrastructure, our radio system. They're the ones that did the work for the police station. And so they're aware of what deficits remain in the system. And if there's an opportunity and we can do it within budget to address not only deficits for the fire department, but for the police department as well, we're gonna try to address those. The other thing, and it's outside of this committee, but there's the current radio tower on top of the fire station, the old fire station, it's all but been condemned. There's cracks in the walls, and they're not certain that it would hold up to a windstorm, significant windstorm, if a hurricane came our way. So I don't know how that works into town operations, but it will need to be addressed as eventually. It should have been taken down probably, years ago.
well, that will be the, town hall reuse subcommittee
Good
be on their
item.
agenda.
Maybe that's something we can ask Comtronics, just for a price to take down and remove,
Yeah,
Yeah,
just to make safe.
yeah, if there's an opportunity there, you know.
yeah. Okay, anybody else? Well, we are making progress, significant progress.
We are, yeah, so I did mention kind of at the beginning before we were taping, but, we had two bids of projects of ours that came in last week, for fire stations. And then a designer that we're working with had a bid come in the week before for a fire station, out in Bedford. That came in $2 million low. We had, Abington Fire, it's a fire and DPW, so it's a bit more of a complex project, than this would be. That came in, $500,000 low, so pretty much right on budget, but again, it's a very complex project. So it's a little tough to compare, a ton of site work. And then we had Southbridge Fire, come in as well, which came in, low. I'm not sure exactly how much. It was pretty much right on budget, but it was under budget. So, people have been nervous about tariffs and kind of what's going on in the world. I still don't have a crystal ball for that, but I would say of the 3 bids that we just saw, things are either right on budget or low, which is a good sign for kind of what's coming. We are talking to the contractors and we're hearing that they're not getting overly aggressive with numbers at this point because they're kind of afraid that work will dry up. So a lot of them are being very aggressive with their numbers. So even with our Abington bid that just came in, we had 8 bidders that gave us pricing, and the prices were all within 0.5% to 1% of each other. So
Wow.
very tight bids. So that's what we're hoping to see here.
And I would say that contractors have this project on their radar
Yeah,
too.
they
I've
do.
been asked a couple of times, hey, when's this project going out to bid? So, that's a good sign too. People are looking ahead.
So we haven't seen anything that said, "Oh my God, these tariff numbers are blowing up these bids." In fact, it's been the opposite. It's, wow, it's exciting to see the competition continue. So, just an update for
That's
kind
good.
of what we're
It
seeing.
makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Have you had to significantly alter any of these projects?
No, haven't
Okay.
done any changes. These are all the buildings I'm talking about too. Like the superstructure is steel. Everybody's worried about the steel prices. Those numbers came in pretty well on estimate. So. We haven't seen it affect the major projects, yet. Hopefully we won't.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll move on to, I guess we have a couple of invoices.
Yeah, sorry for the late email on
No.
that, but I know I at least want to get Kyle paid, or else can't do this.
That sounds good. I vote
It was
yes.
sitting on my desk.
Nate, would you like to,
Yeah, I can take care of these. So motion to approve Secoshio and Associates Architects invoice number 23083-12 dated 4/8/2025 in the amount of $203,504.81.
I have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll please.
Sukforth, aye.
McCullough, aye.
O'Brien, aye.
Carboni, aye.
Simon, aye.
Darling, aye. The motion to approve Pomeroy Associates LLC invoice number 23.111.0-12 dated 4/2/2025 in the amount of $20,250.
I have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll please.
Sukforth, aye.
McCullough, aye.
O'Brien, aye.
Carboni, aye.
Simon, aye.
Darling, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll get those signed tonight and, wait, we have our signers here? Okay. Excellent. All right, any, old business that we need to, bring up? I can't think of any at this point. Okay, chief?
We don't have any old business now.
No, I was just wondering if we're still on target for timeline and things like that and schedule and stuff. That was what I was curious about.
Yeah, we were talking about that, in-house today. So the target is still to try to get this out by the beginning of June.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with mid-May, hopefully we're getting, a package for a QC review at that point. Turn that around in about 2 weeks and start bidding it, right at the beginning of June. So that could slide a week up, it could slide a week back, but that's kind of our target time. So I would say by the next time we meet, we could probably have a bid schedule for you to let you know exactly kind of when we're pinpointing to get this out on the street. And, from that point, from June, say we go out, just for rough June 1, you could expect bids back 6 weeks later, 6 to 7 weeks later.
All right, any new business? All right, let's talk our next meeting. Let's see. So I know that we have scheduled the 14th and the 28th here.
Mhm.
So based on those two, would be more the 28th?
Yeah, we could meet the 14th. I don't know that
Excuse me.
we'd have major updates at that point. Or maybe, I don't know if rather than going in the middle. Why don't we say the 28th? And then if we
Okay.
feel if there's something we need to meet, we'll let you know.
And we'll try to schedule something.
Yeah,
All right.
I think
All
a
right.
month out works.
All right, so our next scheduled Fire Station Building Committee meeting will be here at the Lakeville Police Station on May 28th at 6:30 PM.
Yeah, then we'll have a full update on permitting. We'll have a bid schedule. QC will most likely be done in and around that time. Probably have a planning board, either schedule or initial meeting. So I think we'll have some pretty good updates by the 28th.
Okay,
I think
excellent.
We already have one on the calendar. So.
Right, it's on our calendar. Just want to make sure that we're all in line. So we'll have to let them know, Kristen know that the 14th might be available for others to schedule, because I know we're running into extra meetings and people, So it's nice to know that the room's available. And pretty soon we'll have another one.
Nice.
I love the positive thinking.
All right, if there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:03.
Second.
Okay, we'll just do a quick roll.
Sid Forth, aye.
Call aye.
Ryan, I.
Carboni, aye.
Simon, I.
Darling aye.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.